Last week I talked about my family and I talked about how we have dropped the ball. And since then, of course, some of you may or may not know, but Donald Trump has been indicted by the New York grand jury, probably the first president to be indicted and indicted for a criminal charge, a felony. And I'm told, from what I've read, is that he's also um, the same grand jury is reviewing where he paid a Playboy model $150,000 also to silence her. And folks, I gotta talk about that. The reason why I want to talk about that is because we cannot have two sets of laws. We can't have one set of law for them and one set of law for us. And it appears that's what we have here. And one of the things that Donald Trump said, he said that this was political prosecution and that it was an attack on our country. Really, folks, this is not political prosecution. He broke the law. No one is above the law. This is not the first time. Donald Trump is also facing charges in Georgia, and then he's being investigated by the Justice Department for mishandling classified documents. And here's the thing of it is that that's kind of like we have one, but you have a duplicity in America. Where you have a set of law, we're supposed to be a democracy. And one of the things I want to ask you, do we really have, is America really a true democracy? Do we really have a democracy that's ruled by the people, for the people? We're talking about all the people now. We're not talking about a select group of people. We're not talking about white folk and then black folk. We're talking about for all the people. That's what democracy means. But before I get started into the program, I want to I love to brag on my family. I got to brag on my daughter. Leah just bought her 2021 convertible Mustang, and I guess y'all say I'm always talking, but yeah, I'm gonna talk about my family and brag about it. But I think that's good. She doesn't have any children. She's has a very good job. She's extremely beautiful. I know what Tube Bell saying. So you'll say that anyway, but it's true, Tube Bell. And mention Tube Bell also. His daughter. He has a daughter. Man, I'm telling you, she is so smart. I mean, she's indicative of that blue blood hope. I mean, she like from high school, whenever something on her car went bad, she would do the research, order the part, and put it on herself. This is a young female, 16 to 17 years old, working on her own vehicle, and now she's a registered nurse. And her ultimate goal is to become a nurse practitioner. And she's working on that objective and that endeavor as we speak. So the blood do tell now. Um, my mother's birthday is coming up soon. And no, I'm not sad about that. But I can tell you what does make me sad. One of the things that makes me sad is when I love to watch movies. That's part of my escapism, my relaxation, is that I sit and I watch movies. I love to go to movies with families or either y'all hear Tube Bell. I don't know why Tube Bell keep. It's always it's almost like he behind me. He said, "Bro, you know you ain't been to a movie in a long time. You know you getting them free straight." He's right. I do go to those sites and I watch movies that I because I've already seen Creed 3. I've already seen John Wick 4, and I watch Avatar: The Way of the Water. I watched that today. Didn't cost me anything. I watched it right here on my laptop. And so yes, there's all kind of things out there. If you have internet, you really don't need cable, or nor do you need phone if you have a cell phone. So kind of like technology is doing away with a lot of things, making it easier for us to get services, but also it makes it easier for them to keep up with us and know what we're doing and where we are. But before I get started again, I'm going to bring in Q. Q got something to talk about. Q, bring yourself in and tell the people what it is that you want them to know today. In there, Q.
I'm
Uh-oh, it's glitching.
uh,
Seem like
yeah.
okay. Now we're gonna have to fix this. Let's see. It's gonna come in. I know you can still see the picture kind of froze a little bit. Probably have a lot of Wi-Fi devices on. Okay. All right, there, Q. Hey, Q, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You
Um,
ain't kind of got that Afro wig on, right? Do you? Was
it's
it?
not a wig, not too much.
Oh, yeah, oh, I did. I'm just thinking. I know it's not a wig. Go ahead.
Anyways, I wanted to talk about a couple things. The first thing I want to say, like, when you leave, we see the comments and everything, and but like when you leave comments, just make sure you come with facts, but also make sure you can back up your facts, because this recent comment I came across, he said, the person stated that Terry Rogers II didn't know what district he was running for, and this and that. First of all, I'm gonna say this: Sarah Rogers isn't running for a district job. He's running for a statewide job. He's running for Commissioner of Agriculture in the state of Mississippi. That's for one. And for two, how can you speak on something that you don't even know about? Like how can you speak on that? And then for you to say that, it's just like you don't have that much knowledge on the job yourself. So, but I just wanted to say, don't sit up there and try to put in your 2 cents, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Because I mean, obviously you don't know what you're talking about. And if that person and Terry Rogers got in a debate, I guarantee you Terry Rogers will win that. And I don't care what nobody say.
And I agree with that, and I want to expound on that a little bit further. Um, the comments that she's talking about, Q reads the comments. So leave your comments. We want you to leave your comment. And this here was a white guy, obviously, and he said, and it didn't matter to him. One of the things that Q pointed out was that he was a this here was a black young man that's doing something positive, not doing anything negative, and appears to trying to make a difference in the world. And it did not make a difference to this guy. This guy said, well, it doesn't matter about any of that. And so again, people, and I'm gonna point out to you is what they do. They don't give a damn about us whether a black is a black. A black person is a black person. You either got a young nigga, old nigga, or middle-aged nigga, but they look at us all as being niggas. They look at all us as being nothing, worth nothing, ain't doing nothing, don't know what we're doing, and try to keep us out of politics, keep us out of doing things that are productive. And Q was very eloquent in trying to point out how this person should be glad that Terry Rogers, a young man, is doing something positive at 18 years old when you have so many of his peers that are doing the exact opposite, not finishing school, getting in trouble. It's something, Q.
Yeah, I was about to say I can read exactly what I told him, because I it's obviously I but I told him, I said, you don't have to vote for him, but for you to make statements that are inaccurate or somewhat ludicrous, you should be supportive of the fact that a young black man is doing something positive and profound, as opposed to so many other things that are negative and detrimental to in our community. Keep watching. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and it should, but it didn't matter. Even after saying something like that, he came back and said it doesn't matter about any of those things. See, so again, you see how they see us. It doesn't matter what we do. So that's the reason why what we got to do is what they do. We don't have to hate like them. We don't have to discriminate like them. What we can do is we can be supportive of each other. We can look out for our own kind first. We don't have to be critical of them. We don't have to try to stop them or hurt them. We can allow for them to be all they can be. We just
Mhm.
want them to allow for us to be all we can be. But what we got to do is we got to help out with that. I was in church Sunday, and the minister music, that's all I need to tell y'all, came out. We got a young drum in the church. His name is Chris. He's only 15 years old, and he's very good, folks. And we was talking about how everything's been sourced out of America, that America is no longer an industrial. Now, this was before church started, folks. So don't get talking about we gonna lose our 501(c) or C3 or whichever way it is. Two better know what it is. We don't have it anyway, but we are a nonprofit with the Secretary of State website. But anyway, he said, "Well, y'all ain't got anything to do. This is what my peer, one of my classmates said to the 15-year-old. Man, we had all kind of stuff to do. Y'all ain't got nothing to do. Y'all ain't got nowhere to go. Yes, I'm paraphrasing, but basically what it said, you don't have anywhere to go. There's nothing there for you. And guess what? It's almost as if, and folks, I'm gonna ask you out there in podcast land, who fault is it? Is it the 15-year-old fault that he don't have anywhere to go? Whose fault is it? It's our fault. And that's what I told him. I said, it's you dropped the ball. I dropped the ball. We dropped the ball. We don't, those things are not there. We can't expect a 15-year-old or 16-year-old to go out there and get it themselves, build a playground for themselves. We have elected officials that should be doing that. There's nowhere to go. All the things that's meaningful in the Black community that we used to be able to do are no longer there anymore because we allow for it to go away and we did not put it back. We can't expect. What can we expect when our mind is a double workshop? What can we expect our children to do when we drop the ball? The generation before us, we're going back a decade is 10 years. The generation before us is 10 years. The generation before us dropped the ball. The generation before then and before then dropped the ball. You know that Bull Jennings did very good, him and Arkan Ball. They did good because the people that came before us made sure, even the white folk that was in charge, because they had the separate but equal in, they made sure that we had something to do. They didn't want us to play with their ball. They didn't want us to go to their school. So they gave us a ball to play with. They gave us a school to go through. Yes, it was right by a ditch, right by a railroad track. If you look at our school, look at Carver in Meridian, Mississippi. Look at Magnolia in Meridian, Mississippi. One's by Magnolia Creek and the other we're gonna call it Carver Creek. Now I don't know what the name of that creek, but it's built right on a creek right there. Matter of fact, y'all remember Sturtevant bicycle shop, Big Hen, y'all call him Sturtevant. He had a child to drown over there at the Magnolia Teen Center because it's in a floodway and the water had came up and she went across that bridge, lost her footing and drowned. And so they put a gate across there, a gated, and they at one time they had a gate going across the interstate by Dairy Queen to where everybody be going where the Mazda place is, at the BMW place. They took that gate down. They put a part up by Carver, which is there today, and they put the other part over there by Magnolia School in order to prevent what happened to us, not to them. See, so here it is that we're not taking care of our own kind. You hear me continually talk about that, how we don't take care. We need to get behind Terry Rogers. We need to support him, give him money. We need to be going out trying to get him in there because he's a young person that's doing something positive. We need to go out and find some more Terry Rogers. We need to go out and find some more KQ. I keep saying that. We need to go out and find another Prishasa. That's my niece name. That's an RN. We need to go out and find some more Jadas. They're right there in your household. They're in your neighborhood. We need to identify these people and those that are falling through the crack. We need to pull them up ourselves. We don't need anyone else to help us do that. We need to pull them up ourselves so that they do not fall through the crack. I'm going to let Q come in. You know, people, I got to say this, that they talking about, they use every opportunity to talk about defunding the police. I'm not with that, but I am with them doing away with qualified immunity. It's 16 police officers got indicted in East Cleveland, Ohio. A lot of these were black officers. The way they just, I mean, you're talking about, it was bad the way they beat the citizens of that city, the way they talked to them, the way they violated their right. And the FBI stepped in and indicted 6 of them. And this here was a city where 89% of the citizens are black folk. But the police force, it appears to have a police force that had a high percentage of white folk on there. And it's okay with white folks working in a majority black community. But when white folks go in there and they start kicking your child behind, violating rights, kicking their ass, beating up on them, it's something wrong with that. When black folks are doing the exact same thing. See, but how about this? Let's do this the other way around. How about we go somewhere like North Hill Street and go out there? Hold up, let's go to one of those cities like Waynesboro. I don't know. Let's find a city. What's in Jackson, Mississippi, up in the part where everybody be going to. I can't remember the name of it, but there's places that are majority white in the city, in the state of Mississippi. Let's go to one of those majority white cities and get. Put more blacks on that of white. And I want to see a black person go and try to whoop on a white person like y'all be doing black people. You're not going to do that. It's funny how black people's good about beating the hell out of other black folk. but you're not gonna do that to white folks. I don't care if you're a judge, you're a police officer, whatever. It ain't no black person been killed in Meridian, Mississippi. Ain't no white person been killed in Meridian, Mississippi. It has been black people. See, so you got the police officers around there. Look what happened to me and Loretta Bennett. Yes, and I'm gonna keep on harping on that. They don't do that to white folk. And talking about me now, folks, you know, I'm gonna talk about Dustin Markham ass because I'm fucking pissed off at him. And you know what? I'm glad I don't have to go to his courtroom because he'll throw a rock and hide his hand. Now, folks, now he put my son in jail. My son was working out of town. I got a son that never been arrested, folks. Most of my children never been arrested before. I only have one son that's in prison, and that's Tarius Holden. I don't mind calling his name because it's public information, but he's not a bad kid, and he's my son, and I still love him unconditionally, and I'm going to say until I die that he's not a bad kid, but the system itself have got. I know it too, but Tobet ain't saying this. One of y'all out there said this shit, because Tobet ain't gonna say it because he already know. Well, he's your son. You damn right I raised him, but I didn't raise him to be and do what he did, and neither did his mama. But sometimes when children get 18 years old, they think they're grown then, and they start doing things their way, regardless of how their parents. You can't make a grown person do anything. And even when it's just so many things. And I don't take responsibility, but I take responsibility when somebody mess with one of my children. You mess with me. I done told y'all I love my children, all of them, like the damn leprechaun love his 50 gold coins. One came up missing, and he wreaked havoc in their community. Now, this is what Dustin did to my son. Now, my son got charged with domestic violence in Meridian, Mississippi. Now, I'm going to pause right there. Reason why I'm going to pause, and then we're going to get back Q, and I'm going to let Q tell y'all about what happened in Memphis and then what happened in Uvalde, Texas. She's going to talk about that. But I want to get back, since domestic violence. The Supreme Court ruled that if you are under, not the Supreme Court, and I'm going to read this to you, and I know you can see me, but they have already said people under domestic violence orders can own guns. That's the U.S. Court of Appeals in New Orleans ruled that. And they vacated where a person had been charged, was sentenced for 6 years, and gave him his gun. They say you can't do that. And so, again, the domestic violence, so the police officer that we talked about that, you remember Robert Jones expunged their records. Well, now they can own a gun, so the expungement doesn't matter now. But I want to go back to my son was working out of town. A female charged him for whatever reason, charged him. She wrote a statement and gave it to the courts on the day they supposed to went to court. Now, I don't know when this was, folks. It had to be between, we're going to say during all this time when I'm in trouble, but it's definitely when Dustin Markham was the judge there. Now, Dustin's supposed to be a friend of mine. So he recused himself when I got charged with domestic violence. But all the time he recused himself, folks, Dustin Markham was controlling and running everything. But it took a whole year for charges that shouldn't have been put on me to be taken off of me. I mean, I went into his chamber, I did everything. Man, folks, I tell you, I have, man, let me tell you, folks, I'm vulnerable now. I'm a strong black man, but I'm very vulnerable. Meaning that it's so easy for me to get into my feelings. It's so easy for me to cry. And it's all because of my daughter. And folks, I've seen some things. You can believe I've seen the civil rights workers that was killed in the state of Mississippi. I passed right by. We were told we had to speak to people when we passed by. If we passed by 10 times, we had to speak 10 times. That's the way we was brought up. But I kind of like got off on a tangent. But this is I'm gonna let come in, Q. My daughter's calling.
Okay. But as he was saying, on Monday, a shooting, excuse me, a shooting happened in Nashville, Tennessee, at a Covenant school. It was by, well, they say she was transgender, but I don't think she was transgender. Anyway, 28-year-old Audrey Hale, she was a former student at the school. She killed 6 people at the school Monday, and they also say it was a carefully planned attack. They said Hale, they said that she had various writings and maps of the school, and then they said that her parents, her mother said that she was under care for an emotional disorder. And now, and then I read that her former classmate named, I'm
Q,
looking at my, huh?
Q. All the stuff that let me take over for a moment, okay?
Uh,
And folks, the reason I'm taking over, what happened is not important. What's important is how it was dealt with. The police officers went into Nashville, Tennessee, and they were very professional. They went in there so fast, they did not play. And so it could have been a situation where a lot more people were killed. And I want to point out this, and I got to give kudos to the Nashville Police Department. And I want to say to the Nashville Police Department, I want to say to all the other police departments, if you want to know how to do something, if you know how to maintain your professionalism, how to go in and do something, and what I want to point out is that they did not turn their cameras off. It did not take 3 weeks for them to show a camera, or 3 months, or they or didn't take a court order. Within the same day, or within 24 hours, they had the body cam up showing that, which shows this is how it should be done everywhere in America. See, it's not the defunding the police department, it's the qualified immunity. They did nothing wrong with their job. Now, Uvalde, Texas happened May 24th of 2022, or more than a year ago, almost a year ago. It took them more than an hour to get in there. They were afraid. This guy, Ramos, shot at one of the officers, and they ran. It ran. It took them. They had over 400 officers outside, and it still took the border patrol to come up from the border to come up, and they used shields, and they went in there and they put the perpetrator down. That's our message today. Is the difference in policing. How long it took for that video cam to come out as opposed to Nashville, Tennessee. See, so I'm pro law. I'm all about the law. I'm all about what's right. But how about let's do it right? I mean, if you watch that video, and I think Q has she has a link, yeah, for you to go to it. I think you should look at that, people, because it is amazing. It'll bring tears to your eyes. It'll make you cry to see this. And they actually showed it. They showed it from two perspectives with them killing this person. This is what they did, and this person needed to be killed. And whatever she was, or he, or whatever they want to call themselves, it doesn't matter. Nobody's fault. But I can say that the police officer, I want to commend them for saving lives and doing what they did. And the same token, there's so many lawsuits are piling up in Uvalde, Texas, against everybody just about that was involved. The chief of they had school resource officers at that school, and he was fired. And he was a city councilor. He was forced to resign. And this here was a Catholic school, so they didn't have school resource officers there because there's no funding for that, because it was like a private school. But they did a very, very good job. Q, you want to tell the people about the links?
yeah, I just put them. I just put them in the comments.
Okay. And folks, I want to get back to my domestic violence. My son was charged with domestic violence while he was working out of town. He was storing. He traveled to work out of town. The great young lady and went and told in court that she had lied on my son, and that he didn't do that. She was just angry at him for whatever reason. Dustin Markham still found him guilty. Now he's saying that he's my friend, and he recused himself from me. If he recused himself from me, why didn't he recuse himself from my son? Okay, how about my son was coming across the bridge by K. Griffin, and so he was charged with speeding, and he said he didn't know. And so he asked Dustin to go to defensive driving class. Understand, my son ain't got no ticket now. Dustin told him no, because you was going more than 20 miles over the speed limit. Yeah, okay. So Dustin, then folks, they have a thing where you can go to class. They have a program in Meridian, with the city of Meridian, that this is your first domestic violence. They'll give you the opportunity to go to classes and get counseling. Dustin didn't give that option to my son. He gave him 14 days in jail. But when the 14 days was up, he didn't let my son go. he brought my son in on a Monday in the afternoon and reviewed and then released him. So that's file. For one, you shouldn't have been sent. Hell yeah, I'm pissed off. You shouldn't have been sitting on my son case. You weren't going to special. And then how about my son got a no insurance ticket? My son, he doesn't even want to see that and still found him guilty for that. And so my son had to go to jail for 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 days when it's supposed to have been 14 days, what was said. And so you see how they pick at you folks. You see how they use that power. That's, I'm going to say this to you. Your ass a judge today, but your ass ain't going to be no judge goddamn 4 years from now. You see what that Robert Jones is not a judge now. You ain't got no judge, man, that where this is a lifetime appointment like the Supreme Court or a federal judge. This is a temporary job. They already got, shoot. I'm going to go through my list. Go through my list, folks. I'm going to go through my list of the people that's going to be running for mayor next year, people that could run for mayor. Now, I'm told that Ron Turner going to run for mayor. Now, Dustin, let me tell you something. If Ron Turner run for mayor, your ass ain't going to be the damn city court judge. If Ron Turner run for mayor, if a lot of people dissatisfied with Jimmy Smith, when Jimmy Smith go, your ass go. And if people took too much pressure on Jimmy Smith, now your ass gone now. If people start filing judicial performance complaint against your ass, you gone now. You done some things. Folks, my wife went through some things and she ended up, for whatever reason, charges were brought against me for domestic violence. Dustin wouldn't allow for him to be dropped, folks. He recused himself on the case. Don't let me go to jail. Let me sign my way out and then put John Howell on me. Folks, it took a whole year for that stuff to get off me. I hired Rod Amos, his friend. Rod Amos couldn't get it going. I hired Jim Williams. She hired Jim Williams to go down there because she went finna go back in the courtroom. She went in the courtroom trying to drop all the stuff. The Amanda Rainey and John Howell wouldn't do it. Talking about I'm finna get a felony. I said, well, I need that. I want to continue. So I hired a lawyer. And so the first I hired is Rod Amos. Rod Amos, I'm talking about here this a notarized statement that the court, Dustin is the one, don't even supposed to be involved with the case, is the one telling everybody what to do. He cussed Jim Williams out. Hell, Jim Williams said he was scared to breathe up in there under Dustin. This is not going anywhere. And then Fred Wells was in there and wanted to come in there while I was. Dustin wouldn't let him in there and start running his mouth in front of Fred. So that's a witness against you. That here you is in a case that you recuse yourself because I'm a friend, but you're showing some kind of animosity on me. This is not going anywhere. Eddie Holt is manipulating all this thing. This is not going in, folks. And I can tell you, he told the truth. It took a whole year for me to get that stuff. And today, Lolo got them trumped up charges on her, and they already been expunged by Dustin. But to date, mine still haven't been expunged. But my cases were dismissed on September the 9th by the grand jury, never to be opened up again. And I done sent paperwork to the city of Meridian. To the date, they still hadn't done it. And it's Dustin that's doing it. I'm going to say something else too. And then, you know, like I supported Bo Bailey, but Bo Bailey, I supported Bo. But Bo, everybody that been smiling up in your face did not support you. And I'll say it before God, Dustin Markham did not support you. I'll say it before my mama, my daughter, and I'll say it before if this the last breath in my body. He did not support you, but after you won, he came smiling up in your face. And even when you had a chance to do something to me, seemed like you did. But I ain't never came out against nobody like I'm coming out against Dustin Markham. And you can rest my whole damn family, but you ain't nothing but a damn misdemeanor judge. Nothing but a city court judge. You're not a circuit court judge, and your job is you're appointed by Jimmy Smith. I thought it was a good thing, but it ain't no good thing because you ain't right. You messing with my family, man. You can mess with me. I let you mess with me for a whole year, and I didn't put no judicial performance complaint on you or anything. I ain't even allowed for my family to do it. When you mess with my son, I asked my son, I said, son, do you think Dustin did all that to you because you were my son? He said, yes, Dad, I do. Now that ain't right. You got a boss too. It's called a judiciary performance. Shoot, man, y'all sitting, y'all getting playing folks. I'm gonna tell you, man, this is a big club. It's a very big club. It's a big club, folks, but you're not in it. When I say you, I'm talking to you out there in podcast land. The man, Mr. Horn, you're not in that big club. You're a pawn, just like all of us. They use that same big club. George Carlin said it before he died, is that it's a big club and you're not in it. And they use that same big club to beat you across the head. And that's the media and everything you read and everything you hear and all these different things that make us different. Why they have this political tribalism going on to protect themselves, the American leaders. They protect. Look what they're doing for Donald Trump. That's that tribalism. Dustin, you're not in the club, son. You're a pawn. Jimmy Smith, you're not in the club. You're a pawn. Percy Bland thought he was in the club. Look where he's at. Weston Linderman just left. I don't even think he was ever in the club. The club wasn't going to accept him because he was going to do the right thing. Dustin, you thought you was in the club. They kick you out. You did not get mayor. The only time you got this power is because Jimmy Smith, we put Jimmy Smith in there. You did not. And the very people doing little things like having these things where you forgiving fines and stuff, the Meridian is under a court order where they don't supposed to go back and pull those fines and put people in jail. They made an agreement with the Southern Poverty Law Center. I think that's who it is. They made an agreement with them not to, because they was putting people in jail for fine. This stuff is unconstitutional. If a person can't pay it and you doing little things like having forgive, man, it doesn't excuse what you do to me. I read a book. It's a very good book, folks. I'm finna pick it up. This is The Appeal by John Grisham. And the reason why it's a good book is because they lost a big verdict. And they went in and spent a whole bunch of money to buy a Supreme Court justice. And this Supreme Court justice was ruling for big business, ruling for the plants, the organization, and ruling against people that have been wrongly treated. And then his son get hit in the side of the head. You understand what I'm saying? Once his son, this is somebody that just won and already won. His son got hit upside the head. Once his son got hit upside the head, he became a victim himself of medical malpractice, of manufacturers selling a product that's faulty. You understand what I'm saying, folks? Is that like you have these piles, you're arrogant. You're arrogant. You're very, very arrogant. And you shouldn't be, because it's the people. That's the show. So, folks, I got to ask you out there in podcast land, are we really in a democracy? Is this a democracy? Is it? Is it? Why, hell no, it ain't. Because if it was a democracy, when you have over this statewide office in America, 42% of the people had outran unopposed. Nobody running against them. 57% of the judges don't have anybody running against them. How is that a democracy? When you have we constitute over 13% of the U.S. population and over 52% of the prison population when felons cannot vote. What difference does it make if I have a felony conviction on me voting or doing anything if I'm qualified to be in that office? See, they use all these different things. It's this club. These are tools that are used by the club to keep us separated and make us think we're better than the other while they protect their own. It ain't nothing but a form of tribalism, folks. These wars, look at Iraq. Iraq, we spent $2 trillion in Iraq. 20 years later, everybody's saying that everybody lied. Colin Powell lied. And he knew it was lying when he did it. But how is it that we continue to allow for these things to happen, folks? We just cannot. I'm gonna bring Q in and let Q talk about something. Look at y'all can't see. I can see. Get your head off.
I was doing something. All I gotta say is
folks, what they do is they expect us to be to remain ignorant. They expect that, and they use the media to lie to us to keep us ignorant, so that we'll remain ignorant. And the only way they can stay in power if they remain ignorant. Look what they was trying to do in Israel, and the people rose up. And once the people rose up, they had to change. And France is having a problem too. They are starting austerity. When they have an austerity program, that meaning they have to increase taxes, or people have to tighten up their belts, and all this is just to a proxy war for the Western nations to fight a proxy war in Ukraine, and led by the United States. The World Court ruled that the United States had to pay Iran so much money now. It's somewhere close to like $8 billion or something like that. They have to unfreeze it, and they did so illegally. And so we look at things like that, people, and we continue to talk about things. I I don't like I don't like what happened to me in Mississippi. I don't like it, people, and I still try to make a difference. And it seemed like everybody at one time, I was doing expungements and didn't have a problem with them. And it seemed like the more I did expungement, the more things they started asking me for downtown. Y'all know that I can tell y'all this is that Charles Wright was my attorney. I sent that man a lot of business. I sent, he know who all I sent to him. Why do I can say it? Michael Land, Charlie Powell, Claude Evans. That's just a name for it. Even Lee Arthur Clark. I've sent so many people to him for him to make money, and then I went to him, very good attorney, and he sat on a case and he ruled that the city of Meridian should give me a preliminary hearing, and they did not do so. And one of the things that he asked is that did I have a problem with him adjudicating my case, and of course I told him no, and I didn't, people. And because I felt like he would be fair, and he was fair to me. A couple of times, Judge Bailey has sent on cases of mine, and I felt like he went according to the law. Um, I can't complain. The reason why I can't complain, because he didn't break the law. He didn't do anything underhanded. He didn't keep me out there. He used the law. And folks, when you use the law, I don't want him to. I supported Bo Bailey. I did. I spoke up for him. I got my people to vote for him, and I voted for him. And I think one time he passed by the shop, he waved at me. I think our relationship is different now. I don't know why. Probably because he's a judge. But I can say this is that Dustin and my relationship has changed now. And I always respected Dustin because of his father. I have done at one time when Mr. Malcolm was deputy superintendent at Meridian Public School, and I supported that decision. At that particular time, my brother Ed Lynch was the school board president, and I convinced my brother Ed Lynch to support Mr. Malcolm, because once you do me a favor, folks, I don't ever forget it. And I can remember when I was a school bus monitor. They had monitors on the buses then to keep down the fights, and that was my job. And Sam Thompson, my son Tarius, had got caught. He wore his mama jacket at that particular time, Luna smoked weed, and he wore her jacket. She had his jacket on, folks. And he grabbed his jacket and went to school, and had to be like around in February or something like that. And so when he went into the pocket and saw the weed, my son, he was in the sixth grade, he took it out of his pocket and he gave it to Sam Thompson. Sam Thompson, well, he gave it to whomever in charge, and that Sam Thompson here coming from main campus and everything, he wanted to put my son in jail. And so me and Sam Thompson got into it. He was the chief of police for Meridian Public School then. When we got into it, Mr. Markham was either the principal or the assistant principal, and we was in his office. And Mr. Markham, and that particular time, folks, and I can tell you when this was. It was in probably about 1986, probably 1986, 85, 86. Anyway, Mr. Markham, Sam Thompson tried to drop salt on me. He said, he got a convicted felon. Mr. Markham said, yeah, I know it. The man got to work, man got to eat. Boy, I tell you, my respect for Mr. Markham grew, and to this day, it's still. So when Dustin came along, it was just a given for me to support him, because, the apple don't fall far from the tree. And not only that, you know, like Mr. Malcolm married uh, Johnny C and Mama, Johnny C and my brother, first cousin. So it's like family. And for I don't know whether um I was pretty hard on Robert Jones. I was, people. I'm pretty hard on Robert Jones. I put judiciary performance complaint against him. I did. I did that, and I was. And Robert was a friend. I'm telling you, he was a friend. And I gotta say I wronged Robert. I did, but I don't. At the particular time, I think maybe Dustin was doing what he was doing because they don't like me, make him not like me, because they want to do something to me. They want they I mean, you can't. You didn't have to recuse yourself. Like Judge Bailey didn't recuse himself. Judge Wright did not recuse himself. They just followed the law, Dustin. You recuse yourself because you wanted to do to me what you did and what you're doing now. Because you wanted to hurt me and my family. Me and my sons can go to damn jail. My daughters, I don't want none of them to go to jail. Going to jail ain't nothing, man. And paying money ain't never paying money. But understand, Dustin, that you're going to need the citizens of Meridian, Mississippi, unless you leave like Percy did when you ain't got that job no more. Ain't no permanent job you got, Dustin. White folks don't like you. They don't like you. And some of the young people don't like Terry Rogers because of his age. So you know some of the black people don't like you because of your age. White folks spouting up in your face don't like you at all. You right here doing things, man. You messing up, man. Look, I'm a lawyer friend. I'm a lawyer friend. You're no longer my friend. Shit, you showed that more than a year ago. I just been biting my tongue. Shit, man, your hand in the lion's mouth, you gotta ease it out. You can't pull it out too fast. He'll bite. Oh man, I tell you, let me get back to my list and then we're gonna read y'all comments. Thank y'all. Put the sign up, baby, for me. Subscribe. I want you to read. I want y'all to subscribe. You leave your comments and we gonna answer them on Facebook. Facebook's better, but we can go to our email address. And also, if you want to email, if you have a topic you want us to talk about, inbox us. We don't mind sharing it, and we do our research. And if we're wrong, we'll come back. You know. But anyway, we're gonna read the comments and things. But I want to get back to my list, and I'm back now. I told y'all Ron Turner. I was told Ron Turner was gonna run for mayor. Jimmy Smith gonna run for re-election, I'm thinking. And where's Percy Bland? I think Percy Bland is still around. I don't think he's gonna run for mayor or anything. I think he would want to, because anytime you get that power, like Donald Trump, they want it back. Donald Trump's talking about here you will get your revenge. Do you realize what this country will go to if Donald Trump is re-elected for? I just will hope somebody more viable come across, because really we do need a third party, because being a two-party, we have a two-party system here. A third party doesn't stand a chance. So that in itself is not a democracy. So many things to indicate that this is not a true democracy. Dwayne Davis. I think Dwayne Davis will make a good mayor. Yes, too bad I said it. I think Dwayne Davis will make a good mayor. I just do. He will come and listen, and he'll do what he can. And he's from Meridian. He knows Meridian. You don't necessarily have to be from his district for him to do something. I think Dwayne Davis would make an excellent mayor for the city of Meridian. Joe Norwood Jr. I think that he too would make an excellent mayor for the city of Meridian. You know, I talked to Joe Norwood. You know, Joe Norwood, he's a lot like me. You know, we're cousins. He's a lot like me, meaning that he will get radical. He will, and he ain't scared. He ain't scared. And like me, he has a pretty wife. But anyway, I think Joe Norwood, he's very educated, very intelligent. He loves his community. Now, folks, I got to tell y'all this. Now, if you elect Joe Norwood Sr., Joe Norwood Sr., he might be a little bit someone kind of like me. But Joe, I don't think he's going to run. But his son is, yeah, he's college educated. I think he'll make an excellent mayor. And I would definitely would be supportive of Joe Norwood Jr. being mayor for the city of Meridian. See, folks, he's younger too. And we need to give young people a chance. And when young people have already shown themselves to be able to demonstrate that they're able to learn things and they're able to stick to a task, which is what a college degree indicate, that you're able to stick to a task. I think that those people should be put in positions where they can learn the job, Mr. Horn. They don't have to know the job. Qualifications is not based on you knowing the job. Qualification is based on things that are set out in the Constitution and what it takes for you to qualify. Like to be a judge in the state of Mississippi, and that's not justice court judge. You have to have a law degree and you have to practice law for so long. You have to live in that state for so long. So all and you have to be a registered voter. So each position tells what it takes. And clearly, Terry Rogers is qualified for that position because all you have to do, not no college education, know how to read or write, and have a high school education, and he has that. He's 18 years old. As a matter of fact, some of the positions like coroner doesn't even. I think you should be a doctor to have. I think Rudy Jackson be the most qualified person for that position because she's so educated, and the fact that she has a master's degree shows that she's able to learn things and learn things fast. We got to talk about the other council. George Thomas, hell no, he's too old and he take his ass home. He should not be there, but he's still there, like Mitch McConnell, old ass is guarding the keys to the store. He's watching the hen house, keeping the fox out the hen house. Now, folks, the hen's house is where the hens and the hen eggs at. They're keeping the fox out. You, who is not in the club, whom is not in the club, are the foxes. Okay, what about Ramanda Walker? No, no, too political correct. Too political correct. There's no way that anyone should be blinded by. I don't see no difference between color because that's Tybell Lindsay. Try to be fair and try to equate things on an equal level when they're not. It's not a level playing field. Go and look at any playing field you want to. It's not level. So there's no way it should be level. And what the person that was hired to take Hugh Smith's job, I don't understand that at all. I don't understand. I can just say this though. He appeared to be doing a good job when you start looking at the streets of Meridian and looking at the things to be done in the streets that had not been done in the previous administration in the last 8 years. So we can say Mayor Smith and his whatever that person is, public works director, appear to be doing a good job. Tybell Lindsay, no, just no. She need to go home, be a wife, and take care of her children because she definitely shouldn't be in politics at all. Now, I'm going to read the comments, and folks, we'll respond to your comments. Ding dong. Hey. Hey, baby. Hey. I'm looking.
There aren't any comments.
They're not in the comments. Okay, well, we're going to close out, folks. Bye, baby. Is there anything you want to say?
I just want to say, all I gotta say is stop attention seeking. I mean, I can't tell you what to do, but me personally, I wouldn't be attention seeking on social media because, I mean, once you put your business out there, everybody gonna be talking about you, and I'm pretty sure. And then you gonna get mad about somebody talking about you, but you really can't get mad because you put your business out there. So stop putting your business out there.
All right, then. Well, I don't have anything to say. Y'all have a good evening. See y'all next Thursday.